I'm just saying that's just the opinion that I'm getting. Sorry.
You're younger than I am. That way we're not going around.
I'm calling the meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Thank you. Please join with me, board members, in reading the mission statement. To unconditionally nurture our students to be successful, proud, and prepared to thrive. Donna, roll call, please.
Rebecca Allison. Here. Corey Dish.
Here.
Dave Overton.
Here.
Kathy Henry. Here. Larry Jameson.
Here.
Kenya Parker.
Here.
George Powell.
Here.
Gary School.
Here.
Thank you. Item 5 on the agenda, resolution to adopt the minutes of the March 3rd, 2021 special voting meeting and the March 17 combined work session regular voting meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion passed. Item 6, the general fund treasurer's report. Do I have a motion to approve that? The motion, Joe, second, Kathy. Any discussion or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Item 7, March activities account report. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion for that.
Gary, thank you. Gary, Corey with the second, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion passed. Item 8, review and approval of the March school lunch account report. Do I have a motion to approve? Joe, Kathy with the second, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion passed. Item 9, budget transfers. I don't believe we have any. Is that correct? There is no budget transfers. Okay, item 10. This is always Dave's favorite. Motion to approve the April general fund bill schedule. Motion to approve. Okay, Joe, you're taking a turn this time. Corey with the second, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. Motion passed. Okay, item 11, communications, Riverview Intermediate Unit. I believe that's Rebecca.
That is me. I do not have any.
Rebecca, could we have you use a microphone, please? And thank you.
I do not have an update from Riverview Intermediate Unit 6. We have our next board meeting next Wednesday, and our last meeting I already reported on at our previous meeting about approving their budget.
Thank you. Clarion County Career Center, Joe, with the microphone.
The Career Center is currently working on their strategic plan still. And we're also in negotiations. One contract looks like it's complete. The second one, which hopefully tomorrow evening will be complete. And that's all I have for you this evening.
Okay, thank you. The legislative representative, Gary.
Yeah, real quick, there's 3 bills. One's on charter schools. There's a bill right now that would allow charter schools to have dual enrollment with colleges, that they can now offer college courses with some of our, which, I don't know, I hope that one doesn't go through. So that's House Bill 358. House Bill 1013 is the e-certification that will be required on high school transcripts, that inclusion of an industry-recognized credential attained by a student now could be put on their high school transcript as credit. And the last one is House Bill 1004, would require school districts to permit students in home education programs to participate in any curricular activity that merges that activity with a required academic class, including but not limited to band, orchestra, chorus, things like that. The student may take up to 4 of these courses at a time. Also, would permit homeschool students to attend career and technical education, but parents would be required to provide the transportation. So those are all pending. And also, looking at the budget, unless some other important things happen in the primaries, I think it's going to be a long haul with this budget this year from the state. So.
Thank you, Gary. Do we have an update from the CLAEA representative?
Of course you do.
I see Rhonda coming.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. A couple member spotlight. Tracy Johnston, our elementary phys ed teachers, every year sponsors the Jump-a-thon with the proceeds going to the American Heart Association, and Tracy and elementary raised $496. So kudos to Tracy and the students. Tracy also helps spearhead our pop tab collection, which are the pool tabs from soup cans, pop cans, other kinds of cans. And that can be community involvement. People donate those. Gary Mattis represents Juvenile Arthritis Foundation, that he helps with that fundraiser by taking those to locations, and then that location earns money based on the pop tabs. So thank you, Tracy. Many of our members are sports coaches, so baseball, softball, track are functioning because of the CLAEA membership under the leaders. We also have the prom advisors. National Honor Society has inductions coming up. That's a CLAEA member that spearheads that, as well as our graduation organizers. So our memberships are giving a lot back to our school district. And speaking of members, I see in the agenda, it's with a heavy heart that Tina Bennett is submitting her letter for retirement. Well-deserved after 34 years. She's been an amazing integral part of the school district. Very hard shoes to fill, but definitely a position that must be filled. So that should be kept in mind. And another huge hole, our administrator, Christy Taylor, I see in the agenda, has submitted her resignation. She will be terribly missed. That is also another position that must be filled, but I think that will be a difficult one. So, Christy, we wish you well. You will be missed. But recent history has shown us that over very recent years, this school district has lost a superintendent, 2 IT leaders, and now a principal. All of these leaders were young, visionary, exceptionally qualified, with high character. So that would maybe lead to a question of why. Why is that happening to our school district? So exit interviews would be a great way to figure that out. To talk to any employee who migrates for any reason and maybe take some stock at internally, what could we be adjusting or focusing on to keep the talent that we have. We encourage you to take time to do a careful search when you are filling faculty, paraprofessionals. There's no need to rush. So we're hopeful that that can be a very conscientious search moving forward. CLAEA knows that this time of year also involves many difficult decisions for teachers, administrators, and the board of directors, many of which affect our future actions and educational programming. Decision-making can be a difficult process. We encourage the board to speak with a balanced voice by including all administrators and pertinent teaching staff in necessary conversations related to finance. We sincerely appreciate being consulted and asked to offer information that sheds light on the needs of students and instructors. Our students are CL's frontline consumers, and their educational needs must be met and should always be in the forefront during the decision-making and budgeting process. The Pennsylvania School Board Association also recommends the following principles for governance and leadership. School directors should recognize the absence of authority outside of being one collective board. Directors should respect the rule, authority, and input of the superintendent. Directors should respect that the superintendent of schools and the staff are the ones responsible and accountable for the delivery of the educational programs and the conduct of the school. A former administrator at CL always reminded us daily to reach your full potential. Our district can do that and much more by us working in unison rather than all struggling down the same river in what appear to be different boats. We are looking forward to a positive wrap-up, a very unique school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. Looks like our next building committee report. We had our first and only meeting so far on April 7th. It was a public meeting. And the objective set for that was to identify the potential needs or projects that we have. And we certainly had no issue coming up with a list, an exhaustive list. We obviously have to keep the budget in mind and what we can afford to live within our means. So we're waiting for our next meeting to hear from the Finance Committee to give them a chance to get through the budget, which they're making progress on that. So there will be, I anticipate our next meeting, or next step in that process will be meeting with McClure. McClure is a consultant that we've talked to, and it's not costing the district money at this point to have them advance the ball to identify what of our projects we can get completed with different types of funding. And so that's where we're going next, and that you'll see on the agenda here too. I just to let you all know too, I have asked Dave Eggleton to step over and fill in for me for at least a couple months here on the building committee, chairing that. There's obviously some other issues presented end of year and otherwise that I need to turn my attention to. So I have asked him to fill in on that, and if time permits, I'll certainly still be involved, but just to let you all know, I have asked him to do that, and he's graciously accepted. He's been through one or two of these projects before, so I appreciate that, Dave. Thank you for agreeing to help me. But anyway, there's nothing yet set, but there will be a date set, and obviously it'll be public, and everyone will be informed. Any questions? Okay, Finance Committee, Rebecca.
Okay, the Finance Committee has met 3 times over the past 2 weeks. We met April 13th and 14th, and then again last night, April 20th. Each of these meetings were open to the public. We went through the budget line items individually, and we had a lot of very constructive conversation about all those items. Last night, during our 3rd meeting, we completed our overall view of the preliminary budget. And we are planning now to move forward by combining with the building committee to discuss the needs of our facilities. So our goal as a committee, and I believe as an entire board, has always been to use our resources to their fullest potential without passing on burdens to the taxpayers. And so we are continuing to work to that end. And I know we have a lot of things to talk about, and when we combine finance and building, and we'll go from there. Lots of more meetings ahead. So thanks.
Thank you, Rebecca. Transportation Committee, Amy?
The Transportation Committee has met twice since our last board meeting, and we have one more coming up before the next one. And this committee will be meeting for the third time before the next meeting, where we will be recommending that the bus contract that expires in June of this year be extended for 1 year, as is, with the 0.3 raise, whatever comes with that. That's the jargon of the busing company. Our committee will be recommending at our May meeting to begin the proposal of looking at a one-tier busing option for school year 2022-23. That is not the coming school year, it is the following school year. And what we will propose is that we will start to look, as we have already, the pros and cons of that and get things in order to make a decision on that.
Thank you, Amy. Okay, moving on to committee reports. Below on item 12, student board representatives. Do we have anything?
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Juniors and seniors are looking forward to prom May 7th. The shops and art classes, as well as student volunteers, are helping to make it a success. Junior and senior prom courts are together this year. So if you haven't seen the pictures that are out front of the music room, we encourage you to check them out. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, pick it up. Yeah.
There we go.
Finally, someone gets it.
The students in all grades are enjoying the quality of the school lunches this year. They're really good this year. There was some change over the school year for some reason. Many kids are taking advantage of this, and the lines are very long. Seniors and senior parents are concerned with graduation rain date since the venue is outside. The seniors are having a Goodwill clothing and shoes drive. The big blue bin is out front by the mailbox, and we would love community support with this fundraiser. Collections will be taken through April 18th to help fund the senior class trip. Thank you.
Thank you. Business managers report.
As Rebecca said, we've just been very busy and diligent working on the budget for the entire month, so that's kept us busy. I know you probably will have some questions when you get to certain motions, so I'll just leave it up to that. When you get to those motions, ask me and I'll answer. Thank you.
And now back to you, Amy, for the superintendent's report.
Okay, I'd like to first start with Mark Graff, is our school police officer. He's been here about a month. He is fabulous. He loves CL. He loves the staff. He loves our therapy dog, Chloe. He just is very impressed with the school district. And on a, the security level of the school district, I immediately had him to start looking around to see where we are in his eyes. And he actually came back and spoke with me and said, we're in pretty good shape. He said, I've seen you're in a good school of being security. And we talked about a few things that we're going to adapt and work on. And one of those is our Identikit system. That will be a new system for next school year where parents and visitors will need to check in and use their license to be able to enter the building so we know who's here and those things. So he's going to be a big part of that. But he's been great and very, very welcoming. I want to just put another push in that Lauren said about the Goodwill Drive. Clean out your closets. You don't have to have students bring them and carry them on the bus or to school. You just drive around the back of the high school and come up by the mailbox, and there's a Goodwill bin there. You just throw your clothes in. And there's lots of people out there that have those bags laying around their house. And that money is going to benefit our senior class for the things that they may have missed and will be able to do before the end of the school year. So I'm going to put a bug in about that. Other than that, things are going very well, and we're excited about the end of the year. You know, May is very, very busy, and it'll be here before we know it. I don't know where the year has gone, but things are going well. The administration can also speak if they have anything to say.
I don't have anything.
I'm not sure if it was mentioned, but the treats for the school board, it is School Board Appreciation Month, and the PTO has provided Miss Candy treats for you. So those are on behalf of PTO. Thank you.
And I also don't have anything to say.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, thank you. I'll say too, we did talk about those things, the security issues, Amy, that you mentioned. We talked about building committee too. We're obviously considering all aspects were considered, and so we're trying to keep all the different projects in mind. And obviously Mel and Christie, I invited them to participate too. So we try to get a cross-section of everybody to give their ideas and input there. Moving on to item 13, executive session announcement. We had an executive session tonight at 5:30 for reasons of personnel, and I apologize, we were 10 minutes late starting because of that. Moving on to item 14, public comment. Is there anyone wishing to give public comment? Please raise your hand so I can see you have.
I don't have a comment. I just had two very quick questions about the committee meetings. Can I ask that now, or do you want it at a different time?
I couldn't quite hear you, Rhonda. You said you had two questions, but I
Yeah.
couldn't hear what you said about what.
Do you want me to ask them now or later? It's just quick about the committees.
Why don't you go ahead and ask them now?
Okay. I was just curious, are all the committee meetings public? Like you mentioned the finance one. They're all public meetings. How is that shared with the public? So we know when and where?
It was advertised in the paper.
The newspaper. And can it be on the website too?
I can't answer that question. Some board members are saying it was on
the
the
front
building, on
the
the
front
doors of the
door.
building, but and the office door, it says. Right, and we advertised in the paper. Did that answer your question?
It did. I just wondered if it could be on the website, because I think right now people use that more than driving by the school.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. All right, there was one other person for public comment.
Good evening. I'm actually here on behalf of the theatrical team.
Could you hold on just a second? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I do apologize. Go right ahead.
I'm Christina Vest, and I teach here. And I'm actually here on behalf of the theatrical team to have to give you an advertisement for our play. So I want you to know that Clarion-Limestone proudly presents our online play, 10 Ways to Survive Life in a Quarantine. The show dates are next Thursday through Saturday, the 29th through May 1st. The show times are flexible this year. It is streamed. You watch during the time frame, the open window, and the cost is $10 per passcode. And an entire family goes in on one passcode because you watch it on one streaming. So I want you to know this play is full of handy, silly ways to survive quarantine. From putting on a musical with your dog, to observing the world of squirrels outside your window, to hosting a solo birthday party. We promise handy solutions we won't say that they won't be strange. Our play is sure to bring a laugh to anyone who finds themselves unexpectedly indoors. Our play is a team effort led by student performers who act, sing, and play instruments, as well as assist on the technical side. We'd like to thank our cast, our musicians, and especially Morgan Hartle for her technical expertise. We are truly grateful for the opportunity the board and administration has given us and their support during our process. So without further ado, please consider purchasing a virtual ticket. One code works for your entire household. It's one code per view, and that's right, you will get 10 ways for $10. It's fun for the whole family. The link is posted on the school website, and you just follow the directions to purchase a pass. Follow the directions, it's easy to follow through, and I hope to see everyone virtually at the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, one other public comment.
I just wanted to say thank you to the PTO for thinking of us and appreciating us tonight with the candy treats. Wasn't necessary, but we love you for thinking of us. Thank you again.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, no further public comment. Item 15, old business. Yeah, I'm not going to read word for word everything on here, but item A, the 2020 to 21 school health and safety grant funding, $22,156. Is there a motion to approve that? Gary makes a motion. Corey made a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Is this something, I have a question on this, I want to put you on the spot, Rebecca, but did the Finance Committee review this matter?
Yes.
Wait,
We did discuss.
you did your, I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes, we did discuss this.
Okay.
And this is money that was taken from the school health and safety grant funding. So this was a grant funding. That's correct, right? This is a specific grant funding for these specific health and safety items that were purchased, yes. This is not the same as the grants that we receive federally. This is a different.
Okay,
That might have been a question.
What I was
We did, yes, we did in fact discuss this.
okay, and does your committee have a recommendation for adoption, or?
We do recommend adopting this
Okay.
motion. Yes, absolutely.
Did you get it figured out, Stephanie? Oh, I see. She doesn't, if you didn't hear, she doesn't have anything to say. So she agrees with everything with what Rebecca said, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Wonderful. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, not here. Item A is a roll call vote. Donna, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And motion passed. Okay, moving on to new business. Item A, the school physician services. You can see the doctor, the nurse, and the rate. Do I have a motion to approve that? Okay, Corey with the motion, Gary with the second, thank you. Any discussion? Not hearing any. Donna, roll call vote, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item B, renewing the athletic training agreement with Clarion Rehabilitation Services, Inc. Do I have a motion to approve? I heard Kathy. Motion, was it Joe? I'm sorry, Corey with the second. Thank you, Corey. Any discussion on item B? No discussion there. Donna, roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion passed. Item D, renewing the contract with Vince Benefits of America. Do I have a motion to approve? Gary, motion to approve. Joe with the second. Thank you, Joe. Any discussion on item C? Not hearing any. Donna, roll call vote, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion passed. Item B, renewal of the school food service management agreement with Nutrition Inc. Do I have a motion to approve? Joe with the motion. Did I have a second? Kathy, thank you. Any discussion on item D?
We actually looked at that in the finance committee, last night. And, right, Rebecca, that's the.
Yes.
So, it is part of our budget.
Okay, for those that didn't hear, Dave said that the finance committee did discuss this and they recommend approval, and it's already included in their preliminary budget figures. Any further discussion? Not hearing. Donna, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Motion passed. Item E, consideration for approval of Brenda, is it Dee Dee? Is that right? Okay, I apologize. As a guest teacher, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Joe with the motion, Kathy with the second. Thank you very much. Any discussion? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Motion passed. And Amy, I'm not trying to cut you off. If you want to add anything, you just hit me and I'll let you talk about anything. Okay. Don't want to include anybody. Item F, the consideration for the approval to hold summer school in the amount of $36,000, $18,000 each school, transportation to be included or provided. Do I have a motion to approve that? Yes. I believe, yeah, there's no motion on the floor, so Donna, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there's anything that would preclude him from making that motion. Do you agree? Yeah, I think you can do that. What is your motion?
To provide transportation using the activity bus schedule.
Could I ask somebody from the budget committee to chime in and quantify that for us, or give us your guys' take on that motion?
We from the budget committee give $36,000. We were trying to make it equitable with 18 and 18. Our main concern is 36, so I'm okay with, as long as we don't go over the 36.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, so Corey's made the motion, Joe has seconded to, effectively, you're not asking to spend more money, correct? Am I hearing your motion correctly? You're just saying spend $36,000, but if we can offer transportation within that, offer transportation.
Basically, what Dave was saying is that, it will probably balance out there with the two buses.
Well, that's up to, what we did was we put a number and said, make it work for summer school.
My suggestion is to keep the motion and just take out, just do it consideration for the approval to hold summer school in the district for the amount of $30,000, period. Because you were saying about,
Finance committee's fine with that, I believe.
Okay, Corey, it's your motion and your motion's on the floor. Do you want to modify your motion?
Yes, I'd like to modify the motion to remove the 1818, just to make it straight 36,000, and provide transportation using activity bus.
I think Amy's recommendation, her recommendation was just to delete the last sentence about saying no transportation to be provided, and just make it clear it's $30,000 across the board, however the administration wants to implement it. Correct?
How she said it,
Okay, sounds good. Okay, well, I just heard Corey say what I just said. Joe, are you still seconding that?
Yes.
Okay. Corey, you want to add something?
Yeah,
I can't hear you.
What I would say is the less restrictive you make it, the greater flexibility.
Larry said the less restrictive we make the most and the more flexibility for the administration. I agree with that. Wait for the microphone if you would. Does that thing work or no? People at home get mad at me if I let people talk without a microphone.
Ma'am, can you give us some updates for the high school? We need some clarification. We're pretty secure in knowing what's going on with the elementary, but what's going on with the high school students and summer school, so we know what's actually happening.
I had sent to Amy a series of about 4 different avenues that we're looking into. A lot of what we're looking at is credit recovery, especially going from the seniors down, to make sure that things that they have missed, or that they have not been successful at, that they can learn and move forward. Mainly what we're using is the same avenues we've used in previous years. We have a program through Brookville. We have the American School, which is more like a correspondence course. There is discussion about having some courses with teachers from our school offering, but when I put out a survey, we only had 5 teachers interested. So that's put Mr. Stampas and myself into a spot of trying to figure out what we can offer to the student.
About how many students do you have that's?
He estimated, and again, this is like some students need more course. He was looking at about 40 courses. So I can't remember if it was 40 students with different levels of
40?
Yeah.
And in the past, how was that paid for?
In the past, that's been paid directly by the student.
Okay. Some clarification.
And correct me if I'm wrong, committee members, but this was discussed at last night's finance committee meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting nods from everybody. Okay, so this is, even as modified, this is consistent with what you guys have talked about, right? Okay. All right, so the motion has been modified. Do you have that? We're basically deleting the second line. Yep. All right, everybody got that? Everybody know what the motion is? Anybody have any other questions or discussion about the, well, I guess first we have to have I can do a voice vote, can't I, on the motion to amend? Okay, everyone, right now we're doing a motion to amend. I'm going to have for just a voice vote, so all in favor of the motion to amend, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carried, so item F amended to delete the second line. Now, do I have a motion to approve the motion, or the item F as amended? Motion from Kathy, thank you. A second from Gary, did I hear that right? Thank you, Gary. Any further discussion on F? Okay, this requires a roll call vote. Donald, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item G. I'd like to give just a brief explanation and then see if there's a motion to approve this. What's included, this is the follow-up from the building committee meeting. This is what's recommended by McClure to authorize us to publish the request to ask for, as it says in there, the qualifications for a guaranteed energy savings project. Again, that we're not actually spending money to do this, but we do need the author from the board to take this next step. So that's what item G is. It's not to approve any particular project or any particular spending. It's just to advance with McClure to see what the options are. Thank you. Motion from Corey. Joe made the motion to approve. Thank you, Corey, with a second. Any discussion further on this? Donna, roll call vote, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, now we're to the fun part. Item H through O do not require roll call votes, so why don't you guys take a minute and look through here. If there's something that somebody wants to talk about or pull out, please let me know that first, otherwise.
H, please.
Okay, Dave would like H pulled out. Is there any other items that anyone else wants pulled out to discuss individually and vote on individually?
I just think the public needs to be clear that on J, the participation fee is just one-time fee, and it covers multiple sports and activities that are involved.
Okay,
At
Gary?
one time, it used to be separate, so I think it would be good for the public to know it's just a one-time and covers multiple sports. So.
Okay, Gary has, and Amy, if I say something wrong, you hit me or something. Gary just wanted to clarify, in case you didn't hear it on the microphone, he's clarifying that item J, the activity fee, or I'm sorry, participation fee, is a one-time fee, and it applies to multiple activities or events, correct? Did I say that right?
Right.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else they want to pull out of these? Okay, then let's go right to H.
I'd like to make a motion to amend that.
Okay, Dave, go ahead. What's your motion?
I'd like to amend the varsity athletic event to $5 for adults, JV to $2, and junior high to $2. We just passed a motion a few months ago to increase our officials' fees so that make sure we can get the officials. But also junior varsity and junior high, no student fee at all. The $2 is only an adult fee. I go to a lot of events all over, and that is just what everybody else is doing. It's not making us higher nor.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion to amend, and Joe has seconded it. Is Donna, you have the motion? Okay, so we've got the 4 to 5, and then the 2 no charges to $2 for public only. You're saying?
No charge to students.
Correct. Donna, do you have that? Yeah, $5 for adult for the first line. Second and third lines will be $2 for the public, but no charge for students. Okay. All right, does anyone have any further questions or discussion on the motion to amend item H? Yes, Larry.
So I know I'm going to lose on this, and that's fine, but I just want to state something, Dave, and I've spoken about this before. I'm not in favor, the 4 versus 5 is not a big deal, but I'm not in favor of the JV and junior high for the simple fact that I believe that most people that attend those events are parents, family members, and so essentially putting it on their backs. I understand about the officials, and I agree with that, but I just feel bad because I had to do it at other places. And I've never liked having to go pay money to see my own children play at a junior high event. That's all. Thanks.
Melanie, you look like you want to add something.
I just wanted to add in that when we have tickets, we do have to then have a ticket taker. And those positions are in the contract for a certain rate. So we would need to make sure we made enough that was paying for that. That's the other thing. One part of why we haven't gone with, especially your JV and your junior highs, is because there's not usually as big enough crowd to warrant the ticket takers at both gates. So that's just something to consider also.
I would friendly amendment, which is actually a term, to Mr. Eggleton that we take the varsity fee from 4 to 5, but leave the JV and junior high at 2. Now, all that means is Dave can say yes or no as a friendly amendment. leave it at 0, I'm sorry.
Dave, would you like to amend your motion?
That's fine.
So Dave is saying he'd like to amend his motion to be what Larry suggested.
That's fine.
Got it. Joe, you were the second on that, correct?
Yes.
Are you still in agreement?
Sure.
Okay, any further comment or discussion on the motion to amend item H? Okay, we'll do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion passed. Item H is amended. Donna, are you good? Good. All right. Now, unless anyone else had anything to pull out, I'm going to now lump H and O all together. What's that? Well, we didn't actually vote to approve H, but now that we got it amended, I figured we could just move along. No problem? Okay, so we're doing H through O. Do I have a motion to approve each item H through O? Kathy has the motion, Gary's the second. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. I'm calling for a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion passed. I guess I should have looked at the last page. I was going to set the record for the fastest meeting, and I just lost it right there. Okay, so I apologize. There is items P through S on the back page. I neglected to notice that. These, again, do not require a roll call vote, so P through S together. If anyone has anything they want to pull out, please let me know.
I have just a discussion item on S, if I could ask it. Would we, for new board members, we had to get on PSBA, do the training on there. Would that limit us from doing that, or how would that work if we don't, if we're not part of the association?
I mean, right, my understanding, behind item S, Amy and I talked about this. We went down through and looked at, tried to understand what do we get, over $5,500 of taxpayer money we were spending. I was questioning, and Amy and I went through, what are we getting? Are there services that Amy is aware of that the district is using and that we benefit from? And when we went through it, Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't think there was a benefit. You had mentioned the training. I thought we did the training last year that we did. I can't remember if you were there, Dave, or not, but most of, I think Rebecca, I know you were there. I think Gary, I remember you were there, even though you didn't have to. We did it at the IU. So that wouldn't be through PSBA, that was at the IU. We did ours.
No, I think that was still PSBA sponsored, was it?
I don't know.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah, we had to pay separately for that. Nathaniel, could we table S till we found that out, and bring it into next month?
Sure, we can always table a motion. We can always
I
table a
make a
motion.
motion to table S till we check more into that. I'm all for saving the money, believe me.
Motion to table, seconded.
Why you guys laughing, because you're on the finance committee, that's what.
Oh, we're laughing at something else.
I mean, we will confirm, but the discussion that we are having right now is that we talked about this and we don't think that we would be precluded from participating in those training sessions.
Okay.
The programs that they offer that we would be, but again, when we went down the list, it was all in your material. There's a chart, if I can steal from Amy, and none of the things on there are things we do. And so that's what we thought it was a cost savings measure, and I was in favor of it. So.
Well, I'm in favor, but I just wanted to know about the training.
No, I understand. It's a legitimate
We're
question.
gonna have at least one new board member coming
Oh, yeah.
and everything, and I don't wanna pay for that training.
Well, all even re-elected board members still have to go to like a refresher thing. It's not as many hours, but you still have.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're not paying for separate.
But it's not just PSBA, that's a state requirement, it's not PSBA's requirement. So those can be found other places for free, I'm
That's no
sure.
charge.
I would think, I'm gonna check and double check.
That's the only reason
Yep.
I asked to table it.
Not a problem. So we have a motion to table from Dave, seconded by Joe, item S. Any further discussion on item S? Or, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Any further discussion on table item S? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried. So item S is being tabled.
Make a motion to approve the other items.
Okay, Dave makes a motion to approve P, Q, and R. Second from Corey, thank you. Any further discussion on them? Absolutely, Kathy. Here, wait, let me give you this.
Okay. How many students do we have for the work study for the summer?
We asked the board last board meeting to approve 4, and we're asking for 4 more, so we have a total of 8 that we could hire. We have not posted it yet because you can't start, they can't start working till like the second week of May. And so we have it already, and I wanted to wait till we saw if we got these 4 so that we could put that out there. But yes, it's an opportunity for our students in our district, teachers, children, anyone in the area that is going to college to work in our school system through the summer. There's different jobs, computers, secretary, gardening, maintenance, and paid, we have $9.75 an hour is what the pay is. 40 hours a week.
Thank you. Any further comments or discussion on P through R? All right, voice vote to approve. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. Motion carried. Nothing else on the agenda. Gary makes a motion to adjourn. Second from Joe. All in favor say aye. Say no. Motion carried, meeting adjourned.